Hey all, just coming in here with another video. This is going to be like ZeroWork, I call it ZeroWork Basically Basics. Basically whatever is kind of on here with the taskbots, whatever you see on the site, kind of what buttons do, what blocks do. This is unscripted. I won't say this will be short, like the last one I said would be a short video and then it was an hour. This one will be as long as it takes to kind of go through stuff. We're just going to go through each kind of button, where things are, what happens when you press them, what the blocks do, kind of an overview of them. This is not how to find a selector or anything like that. I do have my first video on the page, on the YouTube page, is actually more about that, how to get lists and stuff like that, some of the selectors. So this is more going into super basics, like what does this do? Diana has some fantastic documentation, some videos, stuff like that as well. They are kind of more cut up into each certain thing, so this is going to be probably more broad, just around the whole thing, real quick, pointing out different things on each one, maybe the blocks, not really going into tons and tons of detail, but just kind of like, oh, where's this, where's that, what do I press, what does this kind of thing do on the block. And I'm not guaranteeing I have every answer to every question on every block. I might say, hey, I'm not totally sure what this one does, but we'll get there and kind of figure out what we have. First off, I would just want to show kind of where you get to. Obviously you're probably logged in, you know this is where you get to. As soon as you get in, you're going to go first to the taskbots. I will first, there is a button here to slide through so you can kind of see more stuff, which is nice because the documentation and video crash course is going to be right there. This should be back to home kind of thing. Like if we go in here, I believe this goes, yeah, back to home, back to where you're at. You can slide that in and out. First thing I'll go to is just our settings. I'm not going to go into every one because it has some of my information in here. So if we go ahead and look here, we can get our desktop agent, download it. You want to have the newest one so it'll all work correctly. Security is going to be where your email is. And then it also is where you can change your password, I believe. Support, really not too much here other than this kind of goes to where the docs are as well, I believe. So we'll just see this. Yeah, that's basically there. This will actually tell you here's where you get support, which is good. Preferences, not too much in here. Right now there's just an auto open dialog on building block creation. You don't have to have that selected. I use that, I think it's this right here with your currently running taskbots is what that means. I could be totally wrong on that. I'm assuming preferences, there will be more later on if need be. Integrations I won't go to because that has some more private information. That's going to be my keys, or sorry, my OpenAI key. You can only have one that is global at the moment. You could use a HTTPS like request and put in a different one, I believe. But for the actual block that is Ask ChatGPT, there is one AI, OpenAI key. The other thing in here is now with how Google Sheets connects, there is authentication to the accounts. So you can authenticate to, say, one of your Gmail accounts or Google accounts and then to another, so you can push it over to Google Sheets instead of using the table, data table from ZeroWork. Subscription just shows you what you have. I actually have two different accounts. One's going to be for the Automators Anonymous, where I just throw all the ones I'm using and selling over into there. Right now it doesn't have too much because I'm still working with it. I still have some connected to this account that's being sold. But then we'll go to tables next here. You can see the video crash course. This will just take you to YouTube to get you going. Great place to start for learning how to do things. They're more in depth on each thing, just to tell you. And then the help docs, always good to have these. I use them very often. A lot of the selector stuff is good, and then the building blocks, oh, here's how you do it. Like some get maybe a little complicated, like the JavaScript. This will show you a lot of different ways to do the JavaScript block, and the correct ways to do it so it pulls in the information or does what you want it to do. So we'll go out of here. We will now go to tables. This, as you can see, mine is running right here. I think that setting we had would not have it just pop up, but I could be wrong. Again, this is having one running. You can see this one right here with the green is going to be a Google Sheet. You can see these ones up here that are just standard black. That is going to be the data tables for just for the ZeroWork. I think this is a generic one that I don't need too much. Okay, this doesn't even have any data in it right now, but it shows what we have in here. We can add a new column if we'd like. We can change the name here. We can move it wherever we want. We can delete it. We can add, if we want, a file column for upload data. I believe this is just for uploading. So let's say we want to add an image in there. We could actually add an image here. We can add a new row. We add a new row. And then if we press this, we'll be able to upload our file there that will be used. Say we have a blog post thing that we want to put a bunch of blog posts that are going to automatically be put into our site. We could put the actual image we're using for that, like in WordPress, it would be that featured image or something like that. But that's not really to save them into, I believe. I always get confused by that. The add row, obviously pretty easy to see. Add row, you can go in here, type the information if you want, delete a row. That actually adds the row too. So that's great. You can refresh your data, especially if it's maybe on the Google Sheet or it has started running, but it hasn't come up with the new stuff that's been pulled in by your taskbot. You can delete all data. Say you have a bunch of data in here, you want it gone. You can just press delete data. Import, you can import it from a CSV. You can export it if you want to pull that information out. You can easily convert it here to a Google Sheet. You put your link in here. There's my Google Sheets account. There's probably more. I think I have a second one on here. You can enter it there, convert it, and you want to make sure I believe you have the headers the same as well on there, which would be the first level on your Google Sheet. You can do the newest rows first, and so it'll swap it. Instead of newest rows being shown at the bottom, they'll be shown at the top. How that runs through, I'm not 100% sure. I don't often use that. So I think you could do it that way, and it'll pull them that way. And so on this page, that's really the main things. It can give you, I guess, a little bit of information. We can come off of this page. I think that's kind of everything you need to know at the moment there. You'll see a bunch of them. You can do the same things here. Let's say you duplicate a taskbot, especially with a regular one right here that's not connected to a Google Sheet. It will not normally, it'll make a new table, I believe, and delete the information out or have no information in it. So if you have a duplicated one and you want to get the same information, you can easily export right here and then re-import. Maybe at some later date there will be an easy thing to be able to check whether you want the database as the same or data table as the same information or not. But at this point it would be an export import, not too hard. You can convert it right here to a Google Sheet. You just put your link in there. Duplicate table if you want a new one, pretty easy. Delete table, there you go. Create a new table. If you want to do that, you can select here. What do you want? Google Sheet? No, don't want that. Import data from CSV. You can just copy that in there, upload it right there, or create a ZeroWork table. When you create a ZeroWork table, this is actually the same as if you were in the taskbot. You'll be given the same information. You can just put in whatever table, test table 617 2024. I want my first column to be called names. I want a next column to be called dates. And then I want this to be called post title. Let's just say if you're doing something with, say, Facebook, Then you're going to add the table, and you will see that information came up here. You can delete. I don't need post title here. We can do that easily. We can delete our data again, any of that information. I'm going to go ahead and just delete the whole table. Bye-bye. And so that's mainly tables. You can see I have quite a few of them if you need to go through here and look at different tables you have. Same with taskbots. They work kind of the same way. You have a bunch of them here. I have, what, 5? There may be more. I have 5 right now. So let's just say we are, a lot of these are things, I only schedule a few. Some things I'm working on or something like that. Each one will have this. You can play it right there or run it, I guess you could call it, if you want to create a new one. Obviously the button's here. You can check your reports of taskbots. Okay, there was a failure there. What was the failure? I had actually, I can view the log, and the log was that I closed it. You can see I closed it, so that's why it failed. As far as the rest of the things here, you can go and get your taskbot description. I haven't even put a description in there on, I don't know if I use descriptions very commonly. You can duplicate it right here. Remember that it, I believe, clears out your data table, but makes a new data table, I believe it is. So then you can do that. You can also delete the taskbot. But basically what everybody wants is, okay, we're wanting to build. Let's, you can quickly look, like this is one of mine, and so I have a bunch of things already done. You'll see a table here. Let's just go back to the main menu. This can be back to main menu here or there, doesn't matter. We'll create a new taskbot just to kind of see. You can change the name of it right here, taskbot testing 6/17/2024, and what you will see is nothing here. Perfect. That's how we start pretty much all of them, unless you were given one and it was duplicated or something like that. Then you'll have information in here. Again, at the top, these will be kind of similar. Your run buttons here. Your drag to add a sticky note. So that's kind of cool. You can, this is title, whatever. You can make it smaller, bigger. These are good for, and you can pull them bigger, smaller, if you want just sideways that way, to put some in there and kind of put them together by different things they do. Let's say we were saving a page URL, then we were checking, and all this stuff does one certain task. Get page URL and do something else. It would be good to put these in here to kind of group them together. You could have different things for different stuff. Maybe you have, okay, this is the data I need to change every time. You could do that in a variable, but maybe you have it that way. Or maybe it's don't change this, or some kind of thing that color means to you. So we can go ahead and just delete that, or we can add another one and basically just drag it in. It will be behind that, so you need to make it big enough that you can see it and type. It can keep coming down, so it's just a note, sticky note to group things. Normally is what I use it for. We'll go ahead and delete these out real quick and kind of just keep going. Our report will show us it's very important. It'll have information here. You can put in your email address there. Refresh if you need to. Delete, obviously delete them. They will show up here of runs, what happened, what the number of the taskbot, or sorry, the block was that failed or worked or whatever. So we have that. This, I've heard people having issues trying to find it. Your schedule is here. I wouldn't actually mind if at some point the scheduler was also put here. That would, I think, be a decent upgrade. That I don't know how hard that is, but just have another button for it so you can kind of see if you schedule this every day at that time, it will turn. Oh, there's nothing it contains, so we'll just do that. Let's see if it'll do it now. Oh, nothing in here. We'll just open link and we'll just put yahoo.com, and I'll show you more about that later. Save. Okay, so now it should work. We're going to do this every day at 12:30, and schedule. Now it's scheduled. You'll see it's kind of a purplish color to show that it is a scheduled one. It also shows when we go back, it shows that it's scheduled. But it would be nice, maybe if it's even to click there to be able to schedule it or to change scheduling, you can go back in and change it. We have different frequencies we can use every day, so it's going to be that same, or every single day, and it does something at this time. You can change the time there. You can also put in an interval. That's what I usually do, which could be every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15, 30, blah, blah, blah. Hours, how many hours? Hourly, every 2 hours, every 12 hours, 8 hours, whatever you want to do there. And you'll see they sometimes pop up here if I have one scheduled running. You can do on a specific day of the week, so if you want it just Monday through Friday, and then again you can do it at intervals or specific time. Same with specific day of the month. Can you do more than one? Probably, yeah. So you could set it, let's say it was a payroll thing, and you did it at the 15th, and interesting, they only have over to the 28th. 15th to 28th, maybe it needs a little few more on there, or 15th and 25th, something like that. You can do that. Same options down here for the time specifics. If you have a different time zone, you could use that. I'm in the Phoenix and the Arizona time zone. It will be Phoenix. Specific day, you can actually put it there and have it do whatever day you wanted. So there is the scheduler. Let's say I didn't want to do it, or I wanted to change the schedule. You could reschedule there. Now it's only going to be that date, that time. And basically it's like a save button if you've changed it, and then remove. Okay, now it's no longer scheduled. If it's the first time, I'll say schedule instead of reschedule. Going to the next one, here's what we can do. We can share our taskbot with someone else's email. It will come to their email, and they will see that in their email and show that it should have been sent to I can't remember if it has to be sent to their account from them pressing the link, or if it's automatically sent. It may be automatically sent, and then it sends me an email telling them that. You can generate a sharing link, which is handy if you just want someone else, maybe you're getting support from someone, help there, or as I'm doing, I'm selling them. I can make a sharing link, and then if someone presses on this, they will be able to get it into their account. Add taskbot to my account, and all you have to do is that. You can copy the link, obviously, just like a copy button, or you can change it, which will be handy. Let's say mine that I'm selling, some of those will be monthly, basically for there to be, basically if I sell them monthly, changes and stuff like that, I can change the link and say, hey, you have access to it now, you don't have access to it, something like that. So there's how you do it. You can deactivate it and go from there and click off of it. You can detect errors. I really never do that. I think as you run it, it will, it's going to detect errors. Though you can detect that before if you really want to. And as you can see, that stuff popped up there. I clicked off of it, so it failed. The last thing we have on this top is our settings. Oh, here's the description. I forgot to say. I almost never use it, but it could be helpful for you. Run in background. So if I leave it like this, as is, what's going to happen is this. I will show you, and I will put a weight. Actually, the weight is fine. I will do that. It pops up in a thing down on my tray, and then it goes out when it's done. What it did was go to Yahoo, and then it's done 3 seconds later. What this will do is if I press run in background, it was on my other screen, so you won't see it, wouldn't have seen it either way. But now I have nothing to click. There is nothing here. If you don't want it to pop up at all, that's what happened. You can see it did it, and I haven't had issues with it running in the background with ones. If you want to do some checking, let's say, of what's going on with it, this is always a great way to do it. You run it, and instead of it closing, it will stay open even after when it goes just like that. So if I'm doing something and it's a certain page and something's not working on that page, I might want to right click and this right here. I was trying to get that information, it didn't come up. I can inspect, right click, inspect. It will just come up to here the first time. So right click it again. I don't, that's something with that. There we go. And now you'll see that information right there. So if you want to work on it and you're like, why didn't it come up? Right click it again and just push it through. It always takes twice. If you're doing a console, let's say I was working on the console because I want to do what's called a document query selector all to check and see what document's there. If I control V, maybe I have my selector and I want to see if it's there. I control V, it will not let me. So it'll say allow pasting. I need to type in allow pasting and literally press enter. Now it's going to let me do pasting of, I don't have anything copied, but right here, that. Now it'll allow me to paste in, let's say, my selector or something. One of the things is query, the thing I use most is document query selector all. It's going to be the full document. Press over, dot query selector all. So you can do this and then whatever H1, let's just say, and then we'll see there was two H1s, which is actually interesting. Usually there's not two H1s. But as you can see, you can do like your checking of things right on the page. There's often times where something will fail on a page, but it'll keep going, allow that. So what I'll do is wait for that page to come up and just click the stop, and it'll stop right at that point so you can see what's going on that page. Those are just some handy ways to do things there. Other than that, let's see our settings. Run non-incognito means you're not running with cookies. One of the things with this, and I won't show because we're not logging into anything, but incognito will be like it's actually in your Google account, what it's pulling up. It does not allow for the use of extensions like these, but it does log you in to so it's more like your account that you actually use all the time. What I have found, unless they've changed it, is to use non-incognito, you must have an email that is a paid, like Google email. Not technically like at Gmail, but it'll be like your website, and you're paying for the $6.99 or whatever it is, $5.99 each month for Google to do the emails off of that. So it's an account that is paid through Google, and that's the only one I found that works. If you try to do it with a standard Gmail, a free one, it gives you something about it not being secure or something weird. If you have cookies to put in there to log you into an account, you can do that. I use oftentimes just this edit this cookie. All you need to do is get that thing and you say logged into a WordPress account, your WordPress site. You can just press this, get this extension, edit this cookie, press that right there. It'll export them like this, and then you copy it in here, right there, boom. And you can delete it out. You can add more than one cookie if you need to. Your thing goes to Facebook and pulls information, and then goes to your website and puts it in as a blog post or something like that, whatever it is. Maybe your YouTube to your blog post, then you can add cookies for your YouTube account as well as adding cookies for your other account. Generate a webhook can be very valuable. It was within ZeroWork previously. It got taken out because there were some issues with it. Diana has thankfully got it back working. I haven't used it too much, but essentially if you have something that will trigger a webhook, you can easily just pop this in as the trigger. And what will happen is, say in YouTube, a new YouTube video is posted, and you have something like Pabbly or Make or something that sees that it's posted and sends information to a webhook. You could do that, and make will send the information, and the webhook right there, that'll be used within Make or whatever it is, or Zapier or Pabbly or whatever thing you have frontly to start this. So what could happen is, instead of running it every 5 minutes and checking to see that there's a new video, it could actually, when Make catches it that there's a new video, then it would push over and start an automation. It does not at this point have parameters or anything, but I think that's on the roadmap. So this can be used to start an automation. And then obviously you can copy the link or delete it. And then you can regenerate it. This shows kind of what your user agent is on. It's telling that I'm on Windows 10, or what would be the standard thing. Sometimes this will not say synced here. It'll have a button you can resync it to whatever you're using, maybe if there's an update of Chrome or something like that. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, that's what it does. Proxy, if you use proxies, and that they say is advanced. Essentially, I really don't use proxies, not too much. A proxy essentially basically uses a different IP address to run them on, so that you won't get banned if you're using different IP, the same IP address at your IP, things like that. Maybe you want to run a bunch of Facebook accounts, and you want them to each be on different ones. You have a proxy set for each taskbot. So if you had a bunch of accounts you could, from Facebook you want to run, essentially you could either re-add cookies each time, or you could duplicate the taskbot and then add it as different ones to run for different accounts, and you could have a proxy for each one with the username and password. You may not use them. I really don't too often. But I think that's all we have for the settings. So now we will go into, so basically we've done this top bar, we've done the sidebar, and now we're getting to the actual blocks. First one up here is the Ask ChatGPT. I guess I'll go through them just as they come. A lot of times the main one I'm using to start something is an open link, but not always. Sometimes I use an update or delete data, or maybe even update data to do stuff. So the first thing you're going to see is the Ask ChatGPT, and if you don't know how to use blocks, I mean, they're literally, you can't just click them and they'll come up. You need to slide them over. Ask ChatGPT, you can use different models. I haven't used the fine-tune model, but there is a way to excuse me, do that, and you can use whatever. I know 4.0, the new one, is on the horizon to be added, but they have not. Maybe it's in the next couple updates, which would be great because it's a lot cheaper than 4 and seems to work better and faster. So I normally use 3.5, though you can use that fine-tune model as well. There are some prompt settings here. I haven't gotten to these too much, but behavior, if there's an error, you can keep continuing run and record error code. You can stop the loop and just create an error report. You can change the temperature. Obviously, this information, this is ChatGPT information. This block is going to be used from your OpenAI, and it is, again, a global OpenAI key, so it will be using from that. You can change the max token length. Each one of these you'll see oftentimes there's this, and if you scroll over it, this eye has more information. So we can go there. You can put whatever you want in here, like write a great response to a Facebook post that says, and I put it in that we are out on the lake on our houseboat. That's what the post says. Let's just say it said that. We can use different things to do that, and then we can save it to our variables. At this moment we don't have anything, so it has nothing to show. I'll just save this and come back to it. We'll show our variables, and actually I didn't do these on this side. Variables, we can create a variable, or we can create a file variable to pull information from. Let's just say this is our chat GPT remark. Okay, so then we save that, or ChatGPT response, let's call it, instead of remark. So we do it there. We save this. Now we have that. We can put in our own value, or we can pull information to it. Ask ChatGPT. Okay, we want it to be put into here. ChatGPT response. Save. Let's just see what it does. It might take a second. This will not open anything. It did it quite quickly. You can see it tells you how many tokens. There's only 29 in the prompt, 33 in the completion, 62 in total. So you'll see that sounds amazing. Enjoy the beautiful views and blah, blah, blah. There. Okay. So within almost everything, almost all of our blocks, there will be the information, but there could be, obviously, this I. Each of them normally will have this, which is great. It'll say copy variable reference. It'll say copy parameter reference or copy table reference. What these are for is to pull information into that. Well, maybe we don't know what every Facebook post is going to be, so we want to pull that information after we've already pulled it. Let's say over here we'll just take this out. We actually have a variable, and maybe we automatically put something to it. Facebook post description, let's call it. And we'll just say this is basically what the Facebook post says. Awesome time at the Phoenix Suns game this weekend. So now we have that. We know what it is. We pulled that in from Facebook or something like that. We come in here, and we don't want this anymore to be that houseboat. We want it to be what was actually there. So we can just delete this right here, put our cursor right here. I have those quotes just to say, so Facebook will kind of know what I'm saying, that this is the actual post. All I need to do is do that. Okay, which one do I want to be? Facebook post. Okay, so now when I save it, when I run it, it's going to pull that variable from there. There's other things, copy table reference. The copy table reference, I believe, needs a start repeat on it. The parameters you can use, I really don't use parameters. They're kind of like this. But there's some things, they were more for the, what do you call that? The marketplace before, when it was used in ZeroWork. You can use them that way and then just put information in here. It used to have a form on the outside. It doesn't now, so I really wouldn't use the parameters. I use variables, but you can't use them. Excuse me. So now when I run this, you'll see what it's going to do. It's going to take that. Oh, perfect. It took this information that was popped in here, whether you threw it in there automatically or you wrote it in there. That's awesome. The atmosphere of Phoenix Suns game is always electric. Glad you had a great time cheering on the team. It can use emojis, hashtags. You can obviously tell ChatGPT, don't use a hashtag. Hashtags, and don't tag anybody. And it will usually listen, because I've had things where the tagged people and then Instagram or Facebook thought it was spam. So now we can just rerun that. You'll see it shouldn't have any, it didn't even put any emojis in there. So if you want like that, obviously you can change your ChatGPT. The next thing here, so we'll just go down the list. So this is going to take a while. I think I got through everything here. Yeah, your variables. If you had a table, we will make a test table. We already know how to do that. You could add an existing one that's already in there if it's from something else. New table is here. Instead of adding Google Sheet, I won't really show that, but you can do that. I'll pull it in or import data. Test from 6/17/2024, and this we will call Facebook post. So I'll show you here. We'll add the table. It'll show that there. I'm going to, and this will be kind of a later one, I'm just going to use this as one of our first ones, and we'll pull it from here just to do a little test and show. We want to add a new row. There it goes. We'll add one more row here. We'll just do a little test. Awesome time. Great game from the Arizona Cardinals. Hopefully it will be a good season this year for the Cardinals. We shall see. Now with Kyler Murray feeling a little better. But essentially that's how you add. So you'll see now that it can be added to our test and Facebook post there. We'll just still make it our ChatGPT response. And if we needed to take the information from that, the actual data table instead of the variable, we do this. We go to our table reference, this and that. Do remember, it likely will not work if we don't have so what's going to happen, we're trying to save it to the ChatGPT response. If we do that without a start repeat, I don't think it's going to work. Did it go with the first one? So likely what it did here is it sent ChatGPT an empty thing instead of sending it here, because ChatGPT will still run, but it doesn't have anything here because it failed. So if we put and I'll go down, I'll go do this further. Open link, we'll get there to other stuff. Again, this you can have variables. Maybe you found a bunch of Facebook accounts. That might be where you put it. You put your accounts. Oh, I got them here, and the Facebook post. Obviously, it's not going to be a link. You need to make a link. Add your link here, and then if you want it to open a totally new tab, it can open in a new tab. On the first one, it's obviously going to open a new tab. If you have one down the line that opens in a new tab, you can do that. This min and max seconds is how long it waits. Do remember, here's one thing. It waits, it does the thing, so it opens the link and then waits. So if you want the next one to be done 3 seconds after it opens the link, then you need to put the 3 seconds on this, not at the coming one. So this will open the link and wait 3 seconds and then do the next thing. That's pretty much all the options there. We'll go to click web element. Okay, so now we wanted it to open this link, wait 3 seconds, and click the web element. And we wanted ChatGPT before that. This is how you put them together. Do remember, or do note, this bottom and right are for going out. Top and left are for going in. This is not correct. It cannot go that way. If you do this, that is actually this right here. It's opening link and then going to ChatGPT. It is not the other way around. So if you want it to go first and then go open link, that or this is acceptable. One other thing I did forget to say is you can click on or hover over it. You will see the ID, and those will be in your reports, so you can easily do that. You can change the name for Sun's games, whatever it is. You can then, I had it come here, view logs. I want to know, this is my ID. Okay, this is my block. If there's something not working right, you can pop it in here and it'll go right over to it. Now that we have some more, okay, I kind of go off on tangents, so I'm sorry about that. Our click web element will go here first. Either you can use CSS or XPath. I normally only use CSS. Some people like XPath. Some of the copy selector things like this might have a better for XPath rather than a CSS selector. I always use CSS. I'm very well versed in CSS. Each of these is going to have your info. You can go to a video tutorial about it. Again, you can use this for that. So technically you can, if you have a selector here, which I'm messing with, and it changes, like Facebook, and you have a weird selector that's going to change every month, you could technically put that as a selector here in your variables and then have it pull that within your CSS path. And then you could change it. Oh, it went to something else. Okay, change it. Again, there's some more information. There is going to be, the selector is going to time out basically 15 seconds. If it doesn't find it, it'll time out, and you can set that timeout time. Perform a right click. Obviously, everybody knows what a right click is, so it will right click instead of left click. If you just leave it standard and you set your CSS, it will click on that. It needs to be a clickable thing, like a button, and it'll click left click. And then again, here's wait after we click whatever it is. Not wait before, wait after, and then save. It may say that delays next action that follows after this building block. You see that right there. So it does give a little bit of that. So we've already started to get these. We have them like funky. I want them cleaned up. So a couple things we can do here is we can go out. I'm down here now. We can search block name, ask. So we can search ID, name that. Here's, if you want it closer, you can scroll out and in. If you want it further, you can do that. You can make it very tiny, very close, and I usually just do that, but you can use these if you want. This is to, let's see, I never actually used that one, so you can pan around if you click and hold. If you press shift and the left mouse, you can get a bunch of them. So let's see what this does. Let's just pull one. Okay, so what that does is, I actually never use it. That's kind of funny. Like this one, actually it's doing the whole thing. So now I can't actually press on any of them. So if you ever find, and you can do that, but you can't actually change them. If you ever find that, this little button right here, toggle interactivity, now you can. So I actually didn't know that because I don't do that. These buttons, they, if you really like how you have this one here and this one right under, and then you move some over here. Oh, maybe I want to make this prettier right here, and then I have another click web element here like that, and I just want them like that. Don't press these two buttons. What this is going to do is down. It just puts them in line. I actually keep mine in line, usually to the right. So that's just going to keep it in line there. And then if you're off here, you can center, and that's just going to center what you have in there. So those are the buttons there. Right clicking, you can right click on things. You can deactivate the one. If this is deactivated, I believe it's going to start from here. Instead of that, you can keep it. There may be one caveat here. So not Facebook, I'm just going to do yahoo.com because that's an easy site for it to open. Watch, let's see what it does. Okay. Those are empty, that's why, that's the error. It will do that. Oh, what happened? Okay. It is saying we don't know where to start. Okay. So what I'm doing is if I have one at the beginning, it will do this error, and you just unclick it, leave it deactivated. What's going to happen now? It should run. Yep. Just pull this up. You can see. So if you have something at the start that's not used, that's a problem. Just unclick it. Let's say you want to do this and this, and you don't want this one for testing purposes to go. It will work fine. So it's that beginning one. So if you have some at the beginning you want to deactivate, make sure to unlink them. If they're in the middle and something like this, that will work fine. It will come in. It will not do our ChatGPT. You'll see it here. Skipped, and then it went to Google, and then stopped. So that's how you do it there. You can do a bunch of them. What it's going to do first is activate. So if one's deactivated, it's going to say activate. you can just activate them, right click it again, press deactivate to all of them. So that's a handy little trick. Right click, I'm just going to activate all these. The other thing you can do is duplicate. That duplicates all of them. Make sure when it comes out to pull them away from stuff. Because if you go out again, let's delete. You can't press delete. If we do this and duplicate them, and then we go off of them, they're all mangled up here and stuff, and you have to pull them away and figure out where you're at. So make sure as soon as you duplicate, what I would do, as soon as you duplicate, pull them away, just like that, so you know what's actually in this group. Then you can delete the whole group, whatever you want to do. You can do one at a time. That's a little easier. You don't have to move it around because it's just one. And you can copy it to another taskbot. So if you want just this one, you can copy it to whatever taskbot. It'll come up kind of randomly in there, usually away from things. But let's say I copy this to Microsoft Rewards one. Okay, it's been copied. I could technically open, or I can go over to it. Here it is. Hopefully it didn't throw it in somewhere that's hard to find. Maybe it's at the beginning. It's in here somewhere. It did kind of throw it here. So you have to look around for it. There it is. It can't overlap, so we'll delete that. So it can't overlap. Just know that's what happens. Okay, so now we're back here. That gives you kind of an idea of all the stuff you can do. You can't really even right click on other stuff, but if you do right click on one, there's things you can do. Okay, so we have gone through Ask ChatGPT, open link, click web element, check web element. This is a great one for if you want to see if a selector is there, a CSS selector is there, and do something. So let's say an H1. If there's an H1 on this page, then it will do something. Remember, though, with this, if there's two H1s, that doesn't mean it's going to pull both H1s. You're going to have to do your selector correctly. This is just to check and see if there is an H1. So this might be an H1 with a, and usually there should only be, by good web standards, should only be one H1 per page. Class equals title. If there's two, it may only pull the one, so that would be able to see if there's an H1 and the class of it is title. Or like this would also work. This is getting more into what CSS is, or just title. If it's a ID, it would be like that, something like that. So if it finds that, it will go as the found. If it does not find that, it will go on the path of the not found. Again, you can put in all this information. Here's the selector saying, same thing, timeout. After 1.5 seconds of it not finding it, basically it's times out. Selector must be visible on screen. I rarely, if ever, use that because I want, a lot of times it might be somewhere else on the screen, but that could be a valuable thing if you wanted. This one's always set to 0, but you could do a wait if you wanted. So a lot of times what you will have with a check web element is you will have a check web element, and then we found it. It will often be like a click web element or save web element. And a lot of times it'll be, if it's H1 title here, this isn't guaranteed, or just H1, then it might be click H1. Again, not guaranteed. It depends totally on what you're doing. This has a 1 and 1 second wait. You can make that less or more. Obviously, a minimum is it will wait 1 second. If it's 1.5, let's say, it'll wait at least 1 second. It might wait 2 seconds. It might wait 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, up to that, and won't wait any longer. So wait between 1 and 5 seconds to go to the next one. So something like this might be, okay, it's not found. Maybe I have another check. Is there an H2, let's say? And so then we have an H2 check. Okay, it's found in H1, it does this. And then keeps going on whatever this path is. This would just stop after that, after it clicked that. This would come over here. It doesn't have any H1s. We check for an H2. H2 doesn't have any, it stops right here. Or let's say H1 doesn't have any, but we want to click. This wouldn't be the best thing. Oh, it's going. It was just a little slow there. I've had that happen. If it's not found, we want to click H3. If it is found, we want to click H2. And then, let's say it's found, and we only want to click that, we could have it open the link to whatever that link is. So this one will go, if it's not found, it'll come up here and say, okay, that one's found. Click it and go to an open link. If it's found, this one goes to click web element. If it's not found, because it's not there, then it comes here, not found again, it just clicks the web element. So that is what we do there. That's what it's for. It's very extremely valuable. Sometimes it will go like this. Sometimes if we have not found, you can have two into it. So if it's not found, do that. If it is found, we want to do this and then do this. So this is allowable. Usually you cannot have two out from it. They won't work right. There is one that's a little different than that. But then your next thing is save element. Let's say instead of clicking the H2, we want to save the H2. Now what it would be is H2. This is going to have the same kind of things, all that good stuff. Again, the timeout. And you can save it as a text. Let's say it's an A tag. So it actually says it must target an A tag. That link, it could save a link instead of the text. If you had an A tag and it had text like click here, and you press text instead of the link, it'll save click here. If you push link, it'll save that. There's also custom attribute. Let's say that H2, we want to see what the class is. We could just do that, and it will give us the class name instead of the text or the link information. HTML will get outer HTML. There is a issue with some right now. I think it's going to be working on fixed. And then again, if you have an IMG, you could get the image. It's essentially an image link. If the selector has not been found, you can stop and totally not delete the run, but just stop the run and have it close that run. If it is not found, you do this, it'll keep going. So there are reasons. I usually don't use that because even after fail, I oftentimes want it to work or want it to keep going. Again, you can save it to a variable here or there. If you are saving stuff to a table, you do not have to have a start repeat. If you are pulling information, you do need a start repeat. Again, there's minimum, maximum, whatever you want to do. So that pulls information. If you have H1 to div dash child 2 and then H2. So this would then go and see, okay, we want to save not the H1, we want to save the div after the second child, the second div right after, then we want to save the H2. So this would save an H2 that is exactly one div from the H1, that's the second div, and then it would save the H2 after that. So that's how that would work. Save page URL, pretty easy to understand. If we are on a page, some Instagram or LinkedIn page, this will save the exact URL that's there. I'll save it to wherever you need. So that one's pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy. Save from clipboard. If you have something in your clipboard, like you have done a Control-C or let's say you were automating this right here, and sorry, these don't have it in it, but some of these things have like a copy button, so that'll copy it to the clipboard, and then you can save from the clipboard somewhere. So if you did a Control-A and you couldn't find you had to use a tab to get down to something, and then did a Control-A to get everything, then you could control C, copy it, and then save from the clipboard over to a variable or something. So that works sometimes as well. Select web dropdown. I really haven't used this that much. You need to get the drop-down option that you want. Maybe there's drop-down. This one's a little tricky is what I've noticed, because of how this type of thing like that will work, this kind will not. So you need to know that it's an option, like select and then option. It has to be that kind. And then you could select whatever you want off of there. If it was badminton, then you'd press that, put that in there, and you put the CSS of that selector of the drop-down. Again, all the max min. So we're actually not too far, even though we have a lot of blocks, because we've done a lot of the other stuff. Hover web element. I remember this was one I wanted for some certain things. So if you hover over something and something pops up, this can help you with that. It will pop up, then you could select something within that hovered menu or something like that. Again, that's going to be a CSS selector. A lot of times I wait a little bit just to make sure it pops up, because some things can be slow or do wacky things. Easy. Next one, insert text or data. There's a couple ways this can be done. Let's say your cursor was already within something. Let's say Google right here. If it's already within the selector, well, you get that when it's there. Let's say you come to this page, you wanted to type something in there. All you're going to have to do is put your content in here of dogs, and it'll put it there. If you do not have your cursor on it, you might want to use the enter CSS, and then it'll essentially go to it first and then start typing. You can make your typing speed fast or slow or whatever. Oftentimes I leave it at fast. This one will do it almost instantly. It's real fast. This one's relatively fast. This one will slow it down. If stuff is thinking you're a bot, you can slow it down a little bit. You can see how long those slows are fast. Again, there's minimum wait after it puts that data in. Again, you can use like some variable information there and put it in there. So this one is quite complicated and way more advanced. I almost never use it. I've used it on a few things. You have to understand these right here. Interesting. Okay, so there's no exactly. I'm not even gonna go too far there. But this is, you will need to understand, because it won't just be the regular JavaScript. It's regular JavaScript, and then you'll have to understand how to pull it into things. So like this could go in that information values. This one is way more complicated. Most that need a beginning thing aren't going to be using this right off the bat. Though you may, and you could have ChatGPT say write the JavaScript. I've plugged in the information from this to ChatGPT and had it try to write me some good JavaScript. It semi-worked. It worked for the JavaScript, but then how it implemented into ZeroWork, it didn't work, so I had to tweak it, make sure it worked after that. So that is this block. Also, if you have blocks like just sitting out here, it's not going to know what to do. Actually, it doesn't really matter what I'm putting in here. I'm just testing. See, it has this. Still gonna do some other things. Let's see. It may still. It's probably gonna. Yeah. So what it's saying now is you have more than one starting building block. Oh man, dang it. So all I need to do is deactivate that, and it'll actually start. It's not going to work well because there's nothing in here that we're working with. I just closed it, so it'll fail. So then we have our keyboard action. This is a pretty important one too. If you wanted to press space, that would be space. You press on the space bar, just kind of press in here, and then I want it to be the A key that pops in, or enter. That'll happen. If you want it to be Control A because you want to do all, you can press Control and then A. You can do one and then the next, and this will run as one thing. So this will run as Control A at the same time. So if you wanted to do Control A and then Control C, you need to do that, and then I a lot of times will just duplicate Control A, and then Control C. And there you would have a get all, copy to clipboard, obviously. So there's how to do that. Can't think of anything else, but you don't want to put, if you had Control C, Control A, you don't want to put them into one keyboard action. So you don't want to do Control A, Control C. You want to do them separately. If you had and you wanted to press up 5 times, you could do that. They would be done as up, 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 up. So 3 times. That can be done. You could even run a loop if you wanted, let's say, oh, I don't want to put in, I'll show you that later. Let's just go from there. So that's anything you can press on your keyboard, obviously. Switch or close tab. So on the, let's say we click something, sometimes it'll open a new tab. This was one I requested so that we could catch that tab. Or if you open a link and you open a second one, you open a new tab, so you can go and do that. So let's say we opened one and now there's one here and then a second one because we've just added it and we've opened it in a new tab. We would need to switch tab. What tab lays tab? I think that will go to the next one, but I'm not sure. But now we know that it was tab number 2 because it was the second one over. You can switch it and you can close it. Let's say we needed to do our stuff in this. We switch to that. We do whatever we need to, and then we want to close it. So we'd add another one at the end that closes it, and it'll close it out. Let's go to start condition. Very, very important one. What this does not do condition for the CSS that's in there. The CSS one is the check web element. For start condition, we are going to, I'm going to delete all that to show us what it is. Variable. Okay. We're going to make this just 1. And we'll just do this as the response. We'll do this as 1. Okay. So, start condition must also have a set condition with it. Start condition. Okay, so we want to check what's in ChatGPT, what's in Facebook post description. At this point we have a 1. So that is going to check what is in there. If you need to do it as a database, a table, then you need a start repeat in there to check each one at a time. We can have multiple set conditions. This is basically the only one that you can have this and this, and let's just put it there, and another one there, like this. Okay, so if we want to do something right here, we want this to equal, let's say we want it to be equal to or less than 5. We would put equal to 5, and now we'll check whatever after that happens if it's equal to 5. We would have one here. This will be either not equal, but we're going to do it less than 5, let's just say. And this one would be more than 5. We can show you what happens here. This one, we can have a bunch of update datas. Here we will show you this. This one's larger, so we will update equal to larger, and we are going to update ChatGPT response, I believe. Yep. Okay. And this one's the less than, so we'll just duplicate this, and this will be larger or smaller. And this one we will duplicate. We will put an equals there. So what's going to happen now is if our set condition is equal to 5, it will put that it's equal. If it's lower than 5, it'll put lower. If it's higher, it'll put higher. Our variable here is 1, so it should be lower. Let's see what it does. Okay, it obviously put lower in there. Let's now make this 5. What's going to happen? It's going to put equal to. So this will be how you do less than equal to. Okay, so equal to, and then let's do 10. Easy. It should be greater than. There you go. Great. So that worked perfectly. So that's how you can do set condition. In a set condition, there's a lot of different options. There's equal if it equals to something, if it doesn't equal something. So that's kind of a true and false type thing. If it's exactly equal to or not equal at all, there you go. That's good for yes and no sometimes. Number comparison less than equal or less than or more than, and then you can a lot of times put an equal to there. If it contains keywords, then it does something. If it does not contain keywords, like if it's let's say the thing you pull is Facebook post, and you want to see if the last word on there or if a word in there is post, you do contains keyword post, and then it wouldn't care about the Facebook. Maybe it's LinkedIn post, Facebook post, then it will do that. If it doesn't contain the keyword of post, then it's not going to do anything. It's not going to go after that. If there's data in there, let's say you have one that has no data at all, it didn't pull data for some reason, it would be data not found, and you want to see if there was data not found, you could do something. If there was data found, you do something. Longer than a certain character length, comparison shorter than, I've never used those, but they may be handy. These are quite good before and after. This one's going to have, that's just a certain amount. Before and after are a little different, because they will enter the calendar date, and that is going to ask what the format is. You can use a variable. Like if you pulled dates, you want to see something, like this is handy for, okay, if something was before 6/17/2024, if it was 5 days before, there we go. So if anything is before the 12th, basically, it'll do something. If it's after the 12th, you can technically do that, or if it's after 6/17, 6/22, then it'll do something if your date's in there. So if something's in the future. Let's see. Wow, this is longer than I thought, as they always are. So then we go down to another extremely valuable thing. Start, repeat. There are a couple things here. Select loop type. Standard. This you can put in 5. I want it to do the thing 5 times. Boom, done. Goes 5 times. If you want it to do it 5 times, and then you want it to do it 5 times, and it iterates it the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, and next time I want it to go 5, 6, or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or whatever it is, then I can continue at latest iteration. Continue at latest iteration would be like that, I believe. There's probably some more. I don't use it very often. Auto detect is another one. If you put a lead selector in there, lead selector on something like YouTube. Let me just pull something on YouTube. Give me a sec here. Okay. I'll just check for this right here. Maybe we have this selector. The lead selector of these is didn't give it to me. Something like lead selector might be rich item render, like you have here for that one, and then it goes to the next one, YTD, and that would be the first one for this row to select and then go past there. And that would be your lead selector. You do not use a loop index on that, on here on start repeats. The next one is dynamic, and this is to be able to go over a table over and over. So this will do the first one and the second one. Newest rows first. If you want reverse order, you want it to go from the, how I have it says the newest rows are at the bottom. If you want it to go up and then down from the bottom and then up, do that. repetition limit, you can say, okay, there's 30 of them, but I only want 5 done at a time. There you go. Continue at latest iteration again. You can do that to set it further. You could, I believe, actually put a variable like, okay, I want to start this time. You could make yourself an iterator that keeps going, and I want it to be that number, whatever's in here. That's a possibility. So there's your start repeat. That is how to essentially use that. After repeat. And after repeat, let's say we do this. Why we need to, I don't know. Let's say we do this 2 times. Okay, we do that 2 times. We do whatever's in here 2 times. After repeat, then it's going to do all this, and then it will insert some data. That's what would happen. You could have a start repeat, an after repeat, and then another start repeat right after it. You can't have a start repeat within a start repeat. So you can do that. Break repeat. There's times that, okay, if this actually equals that number, I want to break repeat. And what you do is, let's say this one was set to 15 times, and it's found that this was equal to that on the 5th one. It is going to stop this. All this will be done right here, and then go to the next thing, which would be after repeat at that, and go to in text data. So you wouldn't want to put it further off here. So that is how a break repeat works. It stops even if there's more left to do. If something happens, it will stop that and go to the after repeat. That's why it's valuable. So you will need, I'll show you a couple things. Let's go, I'll just go through it. Actually, I'll do start repeat here. So let's say we had our variable. We have this as 10. Let's just call it, let's do a funky thing here. We'll put this as five, and we'll put this as 10. And you won't really see this real well, but okay, so we have that here, and we're going to do it at our dynamic table. So it's going to do it 2 times because we have it in here, and then it's going to, after repeat, then it's going to go to okay, do that. So what's going to happen is this is going to go through here. It's going to, we need to start a condition. What's our condition there? What we will have happen, we need another thing in here, and I haven't really talked about it, but update data. So we're going to set this, the variable of Facebook post description, we're going to set this to the same as our Facebook post, which in this case we'll see in the documents how this works. So we started, the first one will be 5, so it'll be an equals. The second one will be 10 and be larger. So if we do this, and then it'll open the link after it does 2 of those. Does it really fast, so won't be able to see it. Okay, YouTube. Boom, it's not logged in. Okay, so what we get now is obviously the larger one because it was 10. If we look at our test bot, then what we will see, we can easily see this, okay, dynamic, it's going to start the repeat, and it will iterate over all rows. Loop iteration 1 starts, and obviously we only have 2 loops. It says 5, so it puts an equal to in there. And it overwrites it though on the second one, overwrites the 10 to a larger. That's how you would use a start repeat and then the after repeat, and after all that's done it will then open the link. Maybe you have that as different links in there. Okay, so that kind of goes over that. There's so many different things you can do here. I don't want to get too far in the weeds. Send notification. This works extremely well if your cookies are not working and you want to do, like a lot of times what I will do is a send notification. Let's say, or you could do it here. This will send me if it's equal to, and we'll say equal. This is a lot of times good for cookies. because it'll send you a thing saying your cookies aren't working if you have it set up to look for the login thing. So let's just do this. It is going to go to whatever your email is on your account. You will see. Okay, let me see. I'm going to do this in a different page. As my Gmail. I think I have this done as my other one. You will see. Just one moment. Again, this is all unscripted, like I said. You will see a ZeroWork email that comes in here and equal to, and it does it as equal. So there you go. It sent me the email saying it was equal. There's a lot of things you can do with that. It is only going to send to one of your emails. We do have a thing coming up that will connect to your Gmail, and it will be able to send from there too. This, you used to be able to say whoever it'll be sent to, whatever you wanted person. They've changed that because spam and stuff. Upload file. If you have a file, let's see. So upload file would be if you had a file in here and it was image. Sorry. It was our image right here, and we put an image in. Then you could take that and upload it somewhere. Let's say it was somewhere it required an upload. You just take it and upload it to the site. This is a save file. If you do save file, don't save it to a file variable or file data table one. You want to save it to a regular, it'll actually produce a link that can go back into. That would be if you had a download button. You press the download button and normally something pop up. Instead, you do a save file and it'll pull that data into there. And it'll be able to use it to upload it later as well. Update data. This one is extremely valuable. So I can set to, let's say at the beginning of this, I want to set this variable to 0. I can do that by just doing equal to 0 and then go here and go Facebook post description. So that'll set it equal to 0. And then let's say now I want to add 1 to it. Let's say it's at 10 right now. So we just put a 1 in here. What's going to happen here? Deactivate. What's going to happen here is the next time it does it, it's only going to do it once. It'll be 10. It should be 11. Watch. It's going to be so fast. Done. Added 1 to it. You can do that with subtraction. You can, I think you have to have a number in here. You may be able to concatenate. I don't know if it'll work. Dog. Let's see. Put space and then dog. So now it would be 11 dogs. Does it work? Yeah, it does, I think. 11 dog. Well, be dogs, but. So you can use words in there to concatenate. Subtract the following value. I don't know. I've never seen if it does that with that. That may not work. Let's just check. Yes, it does not work for subtracting a thing out of there. There is a different way to do that. So you'd want, again, this would be 11 dogs. We want to do that. Subtract 1. That's going to easily do that. It will be 10. Okay, so next one. And is multiply. Obviously, you can multiply stuff and divide. Kind of simple. The set equal to is handy to set stuff. If you just leave it blank, you'll set it to nothing. If you do that, you'll set it to 0. So that's handy at the beginning for setting stuff as well. Format data. This one is quite handy. There's a couple different things. Remove words. So now, like I was saying before, 10 dog. I'll just put dogs. I want that to be deleted out of there. Remove words. Dogs. I need to tell it which one I want to move words from. Facebook post description. Move dogs. Remove dog. Dogs. Easy. Remove formatting from number. You can change the formatting here, basically. There's some things you can do also with remove words. Let's say you have that and that. It would remove the whole thing like this. is it can remove that whole thing. Oop, it did not. Oh, sorry. You know what? Commas, because it's separated by a comma, it cannot remove commas. You have to do that with regular expressions, and there's actually a way to do that. But if you had this and then dogs, let's try that. That's the one thing that does not work is the comma on there because they're using it to separate values. So took both of them off. If you put a comma there, you could do comma that cats, and it would remove any of them that had that variable if it had that. The next thing, remove formatting, we talked about that. Apply regular expression, you have to know how to use that. A lot of times you can go to ChatGPT and it would be a thing. They have an interesting one, actually I think it's in here, remove words. If we go to the help docs page, this may tell you to remove formatting, remove words. Replace all commas with empty space. This actually shows you how to do that right here. So that's how you would replace a comma using this regular expression. There's a lot of crazy things you can do with those. You can replace stuff and do crazy stuff with regular expression. You just have to know how to use it, whether it's exact or replace. I do a little bit. Shorten content length, how many characters should remain? 1. So let's just do that. It's 10. Now I'm guessing it will be 1. Boom, took it down to 1. Because there's no more characters. Easy. Okay, next one is, let's see here. Split text. This can be very handy for, let's say we had a variable of, we can put it in here. We'll do it in here. Split text. That's our thing. And our variable, I could put in there, was dog / food. Like that. What I can do is come in here, split that text. It's very handy. Use the variable. Which variable do I want to split? Split text. What do I want to use? Let's see. What do they have? They have the slash. Did I use a slash or a backslash? I don't remember. Okay, it tells me now. If I want to put that, we'll put 1, and we'll put it in the variable that. We'll put 2, position 2. You'll see where it is. Put that in there. And now we save that. We run it. What's going to happen is instead of being dog food, it's going to be dog and food. If we had dog person food, stupid, but yes, let's just put that in there. We can actually, and we can have numerous separators. We can define our own separator. Our separator in this case is dog person, or person. So you can see now it did the same thing because it's taken out of there. If we took off this and it's dog perso, what would it do? It would have n food because that's there. Or per will have sun food. So this is how you can get it into different ones and split your text into different places, and a lot of times you want to use it. I do this if you have, like, a lot of times you have a URL and it has UTM stuff. This can be good for, like, sometimes they do stuff like weird like that or something. I'll do stuff like that. I don't have a UTM or something. But to take off a bunch of things, Facebook will give these really long ones. You can do that and do it as your second value. And then you're good to go. Or like this. Let's just say I had this link right here. And I want it to just give me the information after threads. That right there. So all I have to do is define separator threads. And now we have that information here. So easy peasy. Next one, that's our split text. We are almost done here. Woo-hoo. Remove duplicates. If there are duplicates in your table, you can remove them. That's how you would do it. It'll check to see if there's duplicates within there. Good. It will, the oldest one will be saved. If you want the newest one to be saved, there you go. So remove the duplicate of the oldest one and leave the newest one, vice versa if you have this off. Okay. Whew, this is quite a thing. Record date. This can be very handy if you want to record the date today for certain things, when you made a post or something like that. You can have different date formats. You can use a different separator. I personally have the United States one, 8/28/1985, like my birthday would be that. And then you can select today, days after today, including weekend. I always use include weekend, but maybe it's today's 5 days after today. Let's save that to variables, ChatGPT response. You do that, and what it's going to save should be 5 days after today, what, the 22nd or something. 6/22/2024. Perfect. You can do before that, calendar date, you can do day. Obviously, those are pretty explanatory. Let's say you got this date like that, and you only wanted to know what day of the month it was. I mean, obviously you could do that in there, but then you could do something like this, or separator, and then you'd be able to use, you don't have to use all of them, you could just use 2 and set it to our Facebook post description. So now what we could do that. Oh, did I miss something? I must have messed that up. And this will be 2. We just want that date. We'll put it to Facebook post description. Save. Oh, it didn't save. That's fine. So now it's going to pull that date and then save just that out there. Easy. Last one. This is more of an advanced again. You would have to know how to use the HTTP like API request, get, post, patch, put, delete, whatever you want in there. There will be headers if you need a header key, stuff like that. If you need to add more headers, you can easily do that. Request body, this would be whatever the instructions are and information that you need to get, and this could pull some information from somewhere else. The response, you'll usually use a variable or something to get that response. There's some nested path. This is much more complicated. A lot of people may not be using them. I've used them a little bit with OpenAI when we didn't have and there's a whole thing on OpenAI how to use it. So this can be used if you don't want to use the ChatGPT, but there's plenty of other things you can use it. With that being said, I think that's as close to the basics of like what each thing does and how it works, and just, I mean, this is way too long. I'm sorry, it's an hour and a half. But if you just want the basics, like these are what these buttons do. This is what this does. This hopefully helped you. Definitely let me know if there's anything else you need me to work on for you. Obviously, I'm from Automators Anonymous. I'm going to be adding more TaskBot workflow like templates there for purchase. I'm often in the Discord for ZeroWork. So, yeah, hopefully this helps. Thanks.